Hi guys, and welcome back. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Kinder Bueno drip cake. Let's begin. To get started on the recipe, you'll want to grab yourself a mixing bowl, and into the mixing bowl place all of your butter followed by the granulated sugar, and beat the two together until they are lighter and fluffier in colour and consistency. Around 5 to 7 minutes will be ideal. You can then go ahead and give the bowl a good scraping down just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. Then you can start to add your eggs one at a time, beating well in between each addition. And if you notice that the mixture is starting to scramble a little bit, don't worry, just keep mixing on a bit of a high speed and that should alleviate it. But if it doesn't, don't worry, just add in a small amount of your weighed out flour. And if it is the final egg that does it, but don't worry, you'll just want to then add in your vanilla. Give the bowl a good scraping down and just incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. You can then go ahead and add in your dry ingredients, passing them through a sieve first just to remove any lumps that may be in the dry mix. Start to incorporate the dry ingredients on a low speed to start with, and once they have almost fully incorporated, you can always turn the speed up to a medium-high. Once you can see that it's almost fully incorporated, you may want to add in some milk, and this is just to help achieve the perfect consistency. You may or may not need the milk, so use it as needed. You can then go ahead and give the bowl a good scraping down just to incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. Then you can take your cake batter and divide it between your 4 6-inch cake tins, and you can weigh it up if you really want to, but I just eyeballed it and they all came out around the same. You'll then want to level all of the cake batter off in the tin so it bakes more evenly. So once you've got all of your cake batter added to your tins and you've leveled it all off, you can then place them into the preheated oven and bake them off. And I will leave all the baking times and temperatures you need in the blog post, which will be linked down below, so don't forget to check that out. While your cakes are in the oven baking, you can make the buttercream, so grab yourself a large mixing bowl and place in your butter and beat on its own until it's lighter and fluffier in colour and consistency. Again, around 5 to 7 minutes will be ideal. You can then go ahead and give your bowl a good scraping down and just incorporate any bits that may not have been fully worked in. Add in your first half of icing sugar along with a small amount of cocoa powder and just mix it in until it's all fully incorporated. Start on a low speed, working your way up to a medium high, otherwise your kitchen will be covered in icing sugar. You'll then want to give the bowl a quick scraping down just to incorporate any bits of the icing sugar and cocoa powder that may not have been fully worked in from earlier on. Then you can go ahead and add in the final amount of icing sugar and mix that in again over a low speed, working your way up to a medium high speed until it's fully incorporated. Once it's fully incorporated, you can then go ahead and add in some warm chocolate spread. I've used a hazelnut chocolate spread, but feel free to use whichever you like. Once the chocolate spread has been fully incorporated, you can then set the buttercream aside until needed later on. So once your cakes are baked and fully cooled, you can then go ahead and start to finish them off. So take them out of the tin and level them off if they've got a bit of a dome on top, like mine have done. Don't throw away the cake scraps, as you can always freeze these and make cake pops at a later date, or even cake skulls. The option is really up to you. This stage is optional, but it's just to brush them over with a simple syrup, and I've flavoured mine with some cacao nibs. So to start the assembly of your cake, you'll want to grab your plate, stand or board and place a small amount of buttercream into the centre of it and just spread this out until it's a thin layer. This will act as the glue to keep the first layer of cake secure, and it will add stability to the rest of your cake as it's stacked. So place your first layer of cake onto it and press it down just to secure it in place. Then top that with a good amount of buttercream and spread that out until you have a pretty good layer. You'll want to keep a thicker lip around the edge, as you will want to add a filling. I'm just adding in more hazelnut chocolate spread. Spread that out, and then you'll want to just try and get it as level as possible. Then you can go ahead and place on your second layer of cake, trying to get it as central as possible. And you'll want to repeat the process of the buttercream, spreading it out, adding the hazelnut chocolate spread, and then it's the same process throughout until you've run out of layers of cake. So then you'll want to just go ahead and apply a crumb coat, and I went a little heavy-handed with the crumb coaters, as I always do, but you just want a thin layer just to lock in all of the crumbs so it doesn't ruin the final layer of icing that you will apply to your cake. Once the crumb coat is done, you will then want to go ahead and place the cake into the fridge for 45 to 60 minutes just until the coat has firmed up. You can remove any excess bits on top later on or before, whichever works best for you. Then to start the final layer of buttercream, you'll want to add a generous amount on top and just spread that out until you've got a good layer on top, and the bits that have fallen down the sides we will work onto the side of the cake. Don't worry, it all gets used and incorporated. And you then just apply more on the sides as needed, spreading it out just until you've got a rough coating around the edge, and then as you take your scraper around, it will smooth and level it all out. Around the base of the cake, I have added some chocolate chips, and I've just placed them and just using a palette knife to place them up the cake. They don't need to be all equal, as a bit of varying height adds a bit of contrast and it does look alright. If you don't want to do this, don't worry, I just thought I'd use the chocolate chips that I had in. Then you can go ahead and start applying the drip. Feel free to use just one type of drip, but I used two. I used a white chocolate hazelnut chocolate spread and just a plain chocolate hazelnut spread. But feel free to use whichever you like. I like the contrast of the two colours, but again, it's completely up to you. So now it's time to use up that remaining buttercream by piping rosettes on top of your cake. Feel free to use whichever piping nozzle you like. I went with the Wilton 1M, but feel free to use whichever nozzle you like. And pipe them as high as you'd like, as this really does add some more height to the cake, which is already quite high. So if you want a higher cake, pipe more rosettes. As if there wasn't already enough chocolate on this cake, I'm adding pieces of Kinder Bueno on top. Again, you don't have to do this, but I thought it added more flavour and texture, so why not? Then into the centre of the cake you'll want to pour some more hazelnut chocolate spread, and on top of that just add some roasted chopped hazelnuts. This is just to add some flavour and texture. Once your cake's been in the fridge and firmed up, you can then go ahead and slice it up. Cut yourself a generous slices. This is quite a lot of cake, and one slice could probably do 2 people very easily. So thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more from me, and I'll be back again soon with another video and recipe for you, so join me then. In the meanwhile, don't forget to check out the description. There'll be a link to this recipe, a link to my blog, links to all my social media, so don't forget to go and follow me over on there, as I am trying to be a little bit more active. But that's all for today, I hope you enjoyed. Bye guys.